This lesson will, I think, be pretty much a review. We're going to cover lessons 131 and 132 in this one. This lesson is very similar to the one we did last week when we were adding polynomials and subtracting polynomials down. However, I really like this method a lot better. This one makes a lot more sense in my brain, and I think my eyes can comprehend it better. For some reason, this way's cleaner for me. So you're going to be given a problem adding polynomials, except this time, instead of being written like horizontal or vertically down, they're going to be written horizontally. They're going to be written straight out. And here's what order of operations says, that we have to start inside of our parentheses. The problem is there's nothing inside of these parentheses that we can simplify because there's no like terms. So what I always tell my kids is when I look inside my parentheses and I can't do anything inside of this, I need to look outside. And in this instance, there's nothing outside. That means these parentheses vanish because there's nothing outside that needs to go inside of those parentheses. If I come here and I look outside, what I have is a positive, technically understood 1. And stay with me for just a second. Mathematically, what we should do is multiply everything by positive 1. But the thing is, a positive 1 doesn't change anything. So when I have nothing, or a positive with no number, it's real easy. I'm going to drop my parentheses and add like terms. Okay? So my next step would be just take those parentheses away. There's nothing outside of that first set, and there's only a positive outside of the second step. So those simply go away, and I add my like terms. So I have an x squared, I have an x, I have an x, I have a whole number, and I have a whole number. X squared plus 2x squared becomes 3x squared. 2x minus, don't lose your understood 1, 2x minus 1x is 1x. 3 plus 1 is 4. So when you have nothing or a plus outside of those parentheses, just drop them and add your like terms. Okay? The second thing we're going to talk about in this lesson is if we are subtracting them. Now, just like before, look inside. I can't do anything. If I look outside, there's nothing there. So this set of parentheses just is going to go away. However, nothing that I can do outside of here, I have a minus. And just like we talked about a second ago, technically what I would have to do is I would have to technically multiply this understood 1 in. But here's what I'm going to tell you to do. We talked about if you have nothing or a positive, you drop their parentheses. If you have a negative, instead of sort of mentally processing and using the energy to process through multiplying everything by -1, just change all signs in the parentheses after, oh goodness, I hit the wrong button, after the parentheses. So my first set, there's nothing outside, so those go away. This one has a negative, so the sign of all of these pieces are going to change. So again, my first set, nothing changes. My understood plus becomes minus, my minus becomes plus, my plus becomes minus, and then I can add like terms. Okay, so that would be x squared. Let me clean this up a little bit. So I have x squared minus 2x squared gives me -1x squared. And really, I don't need to write this 1. I can just write negative x squared. Then I have 2x plus x, which gives me 3x. Then I have 3 minus 1, which gives me 2. So that, or like I said, you can just put -x squared. That's your answer. So these are not difficult. You just need to remember if there's nothing or a positive outside of your parentheses, just drop them. If there's a negative outside of them, change all the signs in the parentheses after it and add like term. Here's one for you to try. So if you'll write this down and then pause the video and see if you can get it correct, then come back and check it. All right, so let's work through this one. We look at the first one, we can see there's nothing outside of that first set of parentheses, so those go away. And we have 2x squared plus x plus 1. If we look outside the second set, there's a plus sign, which means those parentheses go away. And now we add our like terms. 2x squared plus x squared is 3x squared. Remember, the term doesn't change, only the coefficient. Then I have x plus x, which is simply 2x. Then I have 1 plus 2, which is 3, and I have to stop right here because there are no like terms. Let's look at a subtraction one. All right, so we look at the first set of parentheses. Nothing I can do inside, nothing outside, so that first set of parentheses goes away. Now, there's a negative outside of the second set of parentheses, so we're going to change the sign of everything inside. Now we add our like terms. 3x squared minus x squared becomes 2x squared. 2x minus x is plus 1x. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now the reality is I don't need to write this. And it's 2x squared plus x plus 5. And there's no like terms, so we stop there. Homework is going to be number 3 on page 290 and then on page 292. Only do number 3 on both of those pages. All right?